Have you ever looked at your blood pressure reading and immediately felt a wave of fear? Thomas Reed did. Thomas is a retired school teacher, 70 years old, disciplined, careful with his health, and determined to do everything right. For more than 20 years, he checked his blood pressure regularly. He ate healthy foods. He walked almost every day. He avoided smoking. He rarely touched junk food. Yet there was one thing that never seemed to cooperate: his blood pressure. No matter how hard he tried, the numbers often stayed higher than recommended. And every time he saw those readings, the same question entered his mind: am I getting closer to a stroke? But then, something unexpected happened. A neighbor of his, a man whose blood pressure was consistently lower, suffered a serious stroke before Thomas ever did. That moment changed everything, because it raised a question most people never think to ask. What if blood pressure is only part of the story? And what if the belief millions of seniors trust every day is actually leading them to focus on the wrong thing? Stay with me, because the answer may completely change how you think about your health. Thomas is not alone. Every morning, millions of older adults start their day the exact same way. They sit down quietly. They wrap the cuff around their arm, press a button, and wait. For many people, those few seconds feel much longer than they really are, because what appears on that screen can completely change their mood. A lower reading brings relief. A higher reading can create worry that lasts for hours. Some people check their blood pressure once. Others check it 3, 4, or even 5 times a day, not because they feel sick, but because they are afraid of what the next number might be. Imagine waking up feeling perfectly fine, full of energy, ready to enjoy your day. Then your monitor shows a reading slightly higher than expected. Suddenly, you begin questioning everything. Is something wrong? Am I in danger? Could this be the beginning of a serious health problem? The fear feels real. The anxiety feels real. But here's an important question. What if the number itself is not the biggest problem? What if the real danger is becoming so focused on one measurement that we ignore the bigger picture of our health? Because sometimes the thing we fear the most is not actually the thing putting us at the greatest risk. For decades, many people have believed one simple idea: the lower your blood pressure, the healthier you are. It sounds logical. It sounds reasonable. And at first glance, it even sounds true. But reality is far more complicated. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine 2 cars parked side by side. The first car has a warning light on the dashboard. The fuel level is low, but everything else works perfectly. The engine is strong. The brakes are excellent. The tires are in great condition. Now look at the second car. The fuel tank is completely full, but the brakes are worn out. The tires are nearly bald. The engine is struggling. Which car would you trust on a long road trip? Most people would choose the first one, because one warning light doesn't tell the whole story. And that's exactly how blood pressure works. Blood pressure is important. No doctor would deny that. But it is only one piece of a much larger picture. Your body is not a single number. Your health is not a single reading. And focusing only on blood pressure can sometimes prevent us from seeing the factors that truly matter. Because the goal isn't to create a perfect number. The goal is to create a healthier person. Thomas spent years chasing numbers. Every doctor's visit, every home reading, every health article he read seemed to point him toward the same mission: get the blood pressure lower. So he worked hard. He followed dietary recommendations. He reduced salt. He increased vegetables. He stayed active. And yet, the readings never seemed perfect. Some mornings, they looked encouraging. Other mornings, they were higher than expected. And each higher reading created another layer of stress. Over time, something unexpected happened. Thomas wasn't just monitoring his health anymore. He was obsessing over it. A
Unfortunately, the
single
biopsy
reading could
confirmed the
ruin his
diagnosis.
entire day.
We need to
A
schedule
slightly
surgery right
elevated
away.
number could keep
Surgery.
him awake
I
at
didn't
night.
expect that.
Then, during one appointment, his doctor asked a question that caught him completely off guard. The doctor didn't ask about his blood pressure. He didn't ask about medications. Instead, he asked, "How have you been sleeping lately?" Thomas paused. No one had asked him that before, not in a way that felt important. The doctor continued, "How much stress are you carrying every day?" Another question, another pause, then came a third. "How often do you exercise beyond your daily walk?" At that moment, Thomas realized something. For years, he had focused on one measurement, but he had barely thought about the many other factors influencing his overall health. And that realization would completely change how he viewed blood pressure forever. Let's imagine two people. Both are around the same age. Both visit their doctor for a routine checkup. And both are concerned about their future health. The first person has blood pressure readings that look excellent. On paper, everything appears fine. But beneath the surface, there are problems. He rarely exercises. He spends most of the day sitting. He sleeps poorly. He carries excess weight around his waist, and stress follows him everywhere. Now let's look at the second person. His blood pressure is
pleased with
slightly
these numbers.
higher,
They
not
show a
dramatically,
clear
but
improvement since we
noticeably.
adjusted the medication
However,
last
he
month.
walks every day. He stays physically active. He sleeps well. He maintains a healthy weight. He spends time with family and friends, and he manages stress effectively. So here's the question. Which person would you expect to enjoy better health over the next 10 years? Most people are surprised when they learn the answer isn't always determined by blood pressure alone, because health isn't built from one measurement. It's built
This
from
section here
habits,
details the
day after
nutritional
day,
guidelines we just
week
discussed.
after
It's
week,
important to follow
year
these
after
closely
year.
for the best
And that's why
results.
doctors
Okay, I
increasingly
understand.
look beyond individual numbers. They look at the entire person, the complete lifestyle, the full risk profile, because that's where the real story begins. Before we continue, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever worried about a blood pressure reading, only to realize later that you felt perfectly fine? If so, leave a comment below saying, "Health is more than a number." And while you're here, make sure to subscribe, because in just a moment, we're going to uncover one of the biggest mistakes seniors make when trying to protect their health. And it may be affecting you right now, without you even realizing it. One of the biggest mistakes many seniors make is giving all of their attention to the monitor, while ignoring the lifestyle behind the numbers. Think about it. Someone may check their blood pressure 5 times a day, yet they rarely move their body. They sleep only 5 hours each night. They feel stressed almost constantly, and they spend most of their day sitting. The numbers become the focus, but the habits become invisible. Imagine owning a house. One day you notice the temperature inside feels slightly uncomfortable. Would you spend all your time staring at the thermostat? Or would you inspect the foundation, the roof, the insulation, and the systems that actually keep the house functioning? Your body works the same way. Blood pressure is a signal, un important signal, but still just a signal. The deeper question is always, what is creating that signal? And until we address the root causes, we may be fighting symptoms while ignoring the source. After months of reflection, Thomas made a decision. He stopped treating every blood pressure reading like an emergency. Instead, he shifted his attention toward the things he could control. The first was sleep. He began prioritizing consistent rest. The second was movement, not intense workouts, not exhausting exercise routines, just regular daily activity. The third was stress management. He spent more time outdoors, more time enjoying hobbies, and less time worrying about numbers. The fourth was maintaining a healthy weight, not chasing perfection, but creating consistency. And finally, he focused on something many people overlook: connection, time with family, conversations with friends. meaningful social interaction. Because health isn't only physical, it's emotional, mental, and social as well. Over time, Thomas noticed something remarkable. He felt stronger. He had more energy. He worried less. And perhaps most importantly, he enjoyed life more. Not because every number became perfect, but because his overall health improved. So what can we learn from Thomas's story? First, blood pressure matters, but it does not tell the entire story. Second, health should never be judged by a single number. Third, sleep, exercise, stress management, and healthy daily habits often have a greater impact than many people realize. Fourth, consistency is more powerful than perfection. And finally, the healthiest people are not always the ones with perfect readings. They are often the people who maintain healthy habits year after year. Because longevity isn't built in a doctor's office. It's built through daily choices, one day at a time, one habit at a time, one decision at a time. If this video changed the way you think about blood pressure, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend, a parent, or a loved one who may need to hear this message. Because too many people spend years fearing a number, while overlooking the habits that truly shape their future health. And before you go, make sure to watch the next video on your screen. In that video, we'll explore 5 health indicators that may reveal more about your future well-being than blood pressure alone. You might be surprised by what they are, and why most people never pay attention to them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.